Good morning and welcome to the 2015 North Dakota State University Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. At this time, I'd like to call upon this gentleman for our invocation. At 244 and 150, he remains the winningest coach in North Dakota State basketball history. His overall coaching record was 409 and 224. He was inducted into this prestigious hall in 2001 and thus far has recruited and coached 8 athletes that now reside as members of the Bison Hall of Fame as well. Outpacing all of those accomplishments, however, is the fact that he's one of the greatest humans on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, Vinegar.
That's as nice as he's ever been to me. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for this day. We are so grateful for the blessings you have bestowed on the individuals we are recognizing here today. They have given so much of their time and talents to our university. North Dakota State has been a place that has taught us lessons in the classroom and in the athletic arenas. We have experienced joy as well as sorrow, ecstasy as well as agony, great health as well as pain. We thank you for the thrills of discovery and the developments in our lives physically, intellectually, and spiritually. Now, as we celebrate these things today, let us use this time together and this food to be strengthened to meet the challenges that would make this a more just and decent world for all. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. Please continue to enjoy your lunch. Welcome again to the 2015 North Dakota State University Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. I think it's time to get this party started the right way, and that's with the pride of North Dakota, the Gold Star Marching Band under the direction of Schweigert Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gold Star Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get underway today, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce to you some of our VIPs that are with us today. First, our chairman of the Bison Hall of Fame, Mr. Lee Peterson. Our president of NDSU Team Makers is Terry Ludlam. The executive director of Team Makers and associate athletic director at North Dakota State University, Mr. Pat Simmers. The chairman of the NDSU Development Foundation Board of Trustees, Mr. Steve Swantek. Ladies and gentlemen, the chair of the NDSU Alumni Association Board of Directors, Mr. John Erickson. Let's give them all a big round of applause. In just 5 short years, Dr. Brashani has already established himself as one of the finest presidents in North Dakota state history. Dr. Brashani is highly regarded by students, staff, professors, NDSU athletics, and fans for his knowledge and his experience. He is such a bright and positive leader. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great joy to introduce you, the president of North Dakota State, Dr. Dean Brashani.
Well, thank you, and I can't tell you, as I do every year, how excited I am to be here and what we're here to recognize. It's interesting, for the first time in NCAA history, North Dakota as a state and North Dakota State University as a university has representation at the highest levels of the NCAA. That's incredibly important, particularly at the point that Division I athletics has come to and the questions and challenges we're going to have to face in the future. But it's not because of my good looks, personality, and charm. It's because of NDSU. And when I joined those tables the last few months, it has been intriguing the fascination, the excitement, and the passion that presidents from all over the country have for what's happening at NDSU. And what they commonly say is they can't believe so much, so good has happened so fast. And what I'm quick to do is to correct them on that. It hasn't happened so quick, so fast. It's darn good, I'll give you that. But this program, this athletic department, the success of all of our teams is built on a long-standing history and foundation that the 6 people we're going to be honoring today absolutely epitomize and represent. This is not new to NDSU. It's new perhaps to the nation and the level of visibility that our program has matured to. But the 6 individuals today that we're honoring exemplify what college sports has always been about, is about, and should be about in the future. We have become an institution and an athletic program that is the envy of the nation, and you should be very, very proud of that. Go Bison.
Thank you, Dr. Brashani. A year ago, this man was just about to assume his new job as athletic director at North Dakota State. Can you imagine what that would have been like? To assume the reins of this athletic juggernaut in mid-season of all of our fall sports and what would become a 4th straight football national championship season. He handled the move with aplomb and grace and truly hit the ground running. He handled that move so well, his results speak for themselves. Championships in so many sports. His leadership and integrity has already left their mark on this great program. Would you please welcome the athletic director of North Dakota State, Mr. Matt Larson.
Well, thanks, Dan, and good afternoon, everybody. And I am 51 weeks on the job, 1 week shy of 1 year, and I remember very specifically last year talking to President Brashani about when to start, and he said, you know what, he said, with all the things that we have going on with homecoming weekend, and there's a lot of things jam-packed into this weekend, but it's a special weekend. He said, you know, well, we're going to have you start the Tuesday after. So this is my final last thing that I haven't experienced, and boy, I've been blown away just by the turnout and certainly the induction class that we have today. So welcome and thank you all for coming today and being with us today. Before I make some brief remarks, though, there are a few people that I would like to recognize for their support throughout the year and for making this day possible. First, President Brashani and his cabinet, many of who those members are here today. Thank you for your collective leadership here at NDSU. Your support of our coaches, student athletes, and staff is second to none. Our Hall of Fame committee, in particular Lee Peterson, Jeff Schwartz, Ryan Peralt, and Helena Johnston. Thank you for your tireless efforts in making this a special day for the inductees and an event that has become an annual tradition at homecoming. The Gold Star Marching Band, thank you for being a special part of today, but more importantly, for your support of Bison Athletics throughout the year. Sigurd, we very much appreciate the partnership and the relationship that we have between athletics. Our athletic staff and coaches, this is a very special group of people that I have the fortunate opportunity to work with every day. Their hard work, dedication, and sacrifices are what make Bison Athletics so special, so thank you. Current Hall of Fame members, your attendance here today means more than you know. After all, you are our foundation, you're our leaders, you're our history, and you're our tradition. It's great to have you back in Fargo. Welcome home. A few weeks ago, the university hosted a 60s decade reunion in which the 1965 football team was recognized for winning the first ever national championship. 22 members of that 50th anniversary team were in attendance. I was fortunate enough to spend a considerable amount of time over the weekend interacting with the former players, their wives, and their families. The thing that resonated most to me about this group was that they never once mentioned how many games they won, or talked about their stats, or talked about winning a national championship. This group talked about the memories of their teammates, their experience at NDSU, and how the two combined helped define their lives. For them, it was certainly about the journey and not the destination. That, to me, defines Bison Athletics. Today, we induct 5 new members that will join that 1965 national championship team into the NDSU Athletics Hall of Fame. This class has an extremely long list of accomplishments. Just to name a few: 18 All-American honors, a Honda National Woman of the Year recipient, 3 NCAA postgraduate scholarship recipients, 2 individual national champions, and 2 members of a national championship team. This is an exclusive group. There are not many schools in the country that have 1 alum with these impressive credentials. NDSU has 5. But more importantly, there are 5 special people that embody what NDSU and Bison Athletics is all about: hard work, passion, and dedication. Congratulations, Jason, Jayne, Nikki, Andrea, and George. And finally, for our student athletes in attendance this afternoon, the ultimate goal in college athletics is not to prepare you for the 4 years while you're here at NDSU, but to prepare you to be successful for the 40 years after you leave here. The 5 people that you're about to meet exemplify exactly that. They are role models of how to be a Bison, but more importantly, they are role models beyond their eligibility and their time in an NDSU uniform. Thanks again for joining us today. Enjoy the ceremony, and go Bison.
We are about to induct the class of 2015 into the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame. Before we do so, though, let's recognize some of the recipients of this great honor who are with us today. If you'd please stand and be recognized when you hear your name. Mr. Lee Peterson, Mr. George Thole, Stuart Helgeson, Lynn Forty, Randy Lessenden, Colette Folstead, Jill DeVries, Laura Slosh Bowden, Jerry Gores, Bucky Mon, Rich Mischie, Bob Roy, Dale Bailing, Terry Hansen, General Chuck Wald, Irv Vinegar, Penny Ensrud McLaglen, Amy Ruley. Those are all on my list. If we've missed anyone, our apologies, but if you are in the hall and we missed you, would you please stand as well? And let's give them all a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get after it. The reason we're all here today, the induction ceremony for the 2015 class of the North Dakota State University Athletic Hall of Fame. Your host for your inductions today is also an extraordinary human. Jeremy Jorgensen is Director of Sales and Broadcasting for North Dakota State. And like so many members of the NDSU athletic department, his title doesn't come close to covering everything he actually accomplishes. Jeremy is a multi-talented guy. Since his arrival at North Dakota State, the Herd have grown from a few football games televised to the impudent rarity when a Bison game isn't broadcast. The Bison football radio network, of which you hear his sideline analysis, has grown to 20 affiliates, and the broadcasting future could not be brighter. Jeremy hosts the weekly Bison football show, is color commentator for the Bison basketball teams, and a noted bracketologist among his many talents. Like you, I find the grace in which Jeremy eases into each of these responsibilities truly rare. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Jorgensen.
Thanks a lot, Dan. I enjoyed sitting with Dan and Irv at the table, and I found out that Irv and I equally like chocolate cakes, so we took care of that. It's a pleasure to be here today. We're going to get right to it. An athlete's decision on what school to attend is critical, and when the choice is a prestigious program like NDSU, you have a great opportunity to make a lasting impact. Through the founders of the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame, we have the opportunity to relive fascinating events and hear stories of how legends are made. We have the chance to take a stroll down memory lane with former student athletes and coaches who are joined by a strong common bond called Bison pride. The Bison tradition is built around strong leadership, desire, effort, sacrifice, and teamwork. Understanding, developing, and applying these qualities made our distinguished class of 2015 successful in sport and life. Time to introduce our first inductee. Homegrown North Dakota product who combined his God-given speed with tenacity to excel on the track. He was a 9-time NCAA Division II All-American, 4 times individually in the 400 meters, and 5 times on the 1,600-meter relay teams. On the NCC track circuit, he was a 5-time individual champ and ran on 7 conference relay champions. He and his relay mates found the winner's circle 3 times at the Drake Relays. The performance of this Bison sprinter and his teammates resulted in 3 NCC outdoor track and field championships and a pair of indoor conference crowns. Was the 1999 Regional Athlete of the Year as NDSU placed in the top 10 nationally 3 times indoors. Still has NDSU's top time in the indoor 400 meters at 47.65. Born and raised in Bismarck, he lettered in both baseball and track and field at Bismarck High School and was inducted into the North Dakota High School Track and Field Hall of Fame in 2009. Graduated in 2000 from NDSU, and since 2003 has been the Ziegler Cat based out of Bloomington, Minnesota. Currently, he is the product manager for the Ag Division. He and his wife, Sarah, have 2 sons. He and his family recently located to Alexandria, Minnesota. Please join me in welcoming Jason Breitzman to the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame.
The light is bright. So, first off, I guess I wanted to say thank you to everyone involved in giving me this opportunity, and what an honor it is to stand up here and be inducted into the 2015 North Dakota State College Hall of Fame. I realize there are a lot of extremely talented athletes that may never get this opportunity, and I'm truly humbled. I also want to congratulate the other 5 inductees. It's pretty amazing what all of you have accomplished. NDSU was the perfect school for me. I chose NDSU because of the small college feel, but also because of the great academics and athletics it's known for. Being at NDSU in class and in athletics taught me that being responsible and putting in hard work pays off. It also taught me the importance of community and teamwork, as I remember back how the college came together during the major floods. It's all of those things and more that NDSU taught me and has helped me to get me to where I am in life today. After college, we all get careers, we get married, we have children, we kind of leave our past behind us. This opportunity has given me a chance to go back and relive some of the fun and exciting memories I had here at NDSU. I'm just going to share a couple of those with you. The first one, Larson will thank me for this, but my senior year outdoor national or conference championships, we were getting to the end of the track meet, and getting ready for the 400 or the mile relay. And Lars tells a buddy of mine, Heath Yonke, that he doesn't have to run it. And I told Lars that I didn't want to run it either. I was tired. It was cold, I think. And actually, Heath didn't have to do it, so I didn't know why I had to. But Lars made me. Yeah, didn't tell me why, but he made me, and I threw a fit, kind of. It stuck with me for a long time. I actually sent an email to Lars a few years back and apologized. But it wasn't until later that Lars told me that by running that, I anchored 4 winning relays at the conference championship. So thanks, Lars, for making me do that. The other one is Drake Relays. My last year at Drake Relays, we were running the mile relay. And actually, somebody just put this on Facebook not too long ago, so it's kind of fresh in my memory. But, you know, my teammates were awesome. We were almost always in first place. This race, actually, we were in first place up until our third leg, which was our national champion, Heath Yonke. And he managed to get us back into about 4th or 5th. But people that don't know the race and weren't there didn't realize that he just ran an 800 meter about 45 minutes before that. So definitely takes some guts to get up there. And this race it just proved once again how determined and tough he really is. He's the same way with school. He's the same way now with his career. And it's why I still look up to him today. He's here today, and it's a great honor that he's actually here to spend the day with me. I just want to give a few more thank yous quick. Daryl Anderson was my high school track coach. He's not here today, but he's one of the main reasons I am. I always think about Daryl and Coach Larson. They're identical people, and I just want to thank him. Coach Lars, I knew from the minute I talked to you on the phone that I wanted to come to NDSU and run track for you. Lars's personality is what drew me to him. He was so dedicated to the school, to the sport, and to his athletes. Lars is the type of person that would do anything for anyone at any time, and that's why he's so special to me. There's a table back here that you guys can't see, a bunch of my buddies from track. Going back through pictures and writing this speech. That table back there is the reason I can smile and laugh and think back to my college years. So thank you guys for coming. Sarah, my wife, thanks for saying yes. Thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for helping team up and raise our boys, Jack and Miles. But with that, if I could say one thing, I need NDSU to actually start a hockey program. Because until then, these boys they're going to continue to talk about UND. So, Dave and Becky, my in-laws, I can't thank you enough for everything you guys have done for us over the last 17 years. Well, Sarah and I actually just relocated to Alexandria and currently living in their basement. So, we bought a house, and I'm sure we're all excited to move on here, but. My sister Larissa and my niece Zoya are here. My sister didn't get a chance to see many of my track mates, so it actually means a lot that she drove here. She's got a lot of things going on in her life right now. To take this time to come here and spend it with me is awesome. And lastly, my parents. My sheet's not big enough to say all the things I wanted to say. They've been everywhere with me. They've stuck by me through everything. I can't remember a meet. I can't remember a baseball game that they weren't at. And I just love you guys, and I'm glad you're here with me. So with that, thank you again for the induction. Go Bison.
Now, the commitment level to get up on this stage is very, very impressive, and I do remember watching this next one play basketball, I can promise you that. Following in the footsteps of her father, Jerry, older sister, Jen, and brother, Jason, this athlete learned the game of basketball and developed a love for the game that led to great things. How's this for a resume? She earned an NCAA post-grad scholarship, was the 2000 Honda Division II Female Athlete of the Year. She was the 2000 Women's Basketball Coaches Association Rawlings Division II Player of the Year, was top 10 finalist for the 2000 NCAA Woman of the Year, two-time first-team Kodak All-American and a second-team Academic All-American. She was the 2000 North Central Conference Stan Marshall Senior Athlete Award winner, 2000 Player of the Year, and two-time All-Conference selection. Wow. She led NDSU during the 99-2000 season as the Bison beat UND in the regional final and advanced to the NCAA Division II championship game. They dropped an overtime decision there, so I wasn't going to mention that, but I'm sure she'll talk about that as well. She finished her career with 1,490 points, which still ranks 7th all-time. She also finished 2nd all-time in three-point field goal shooting at 37.6%. She began playing varsity for Sioux Falls O'Gorman as a freshman, culminated her prep career with the Knights winning their only girls' state basketball title in '95. Was the 1995 Argus Leader Player of the Year, South Dakota High School Coaches Association Female Athlete of the Year, USA Today South Dakota Player of the Year, and runner-up for South Dakota Miss Basketball. She was inducted into the O'Gorman Hall of Fame in '06. Earned her bachelor's degree from North Dakota State in 2000, master's degree in 2002 from NDSU. Currently is the Public Affairs Director at Sanford Health in Fargo. Jayne and her husband Michael, along with 4 children, reside in Fargo. Please join me in welcoming Jayne even Gust to the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow. What a tremendous day it is for so many of us today. But it certainly is a great day to be a Bison on homecoming in Fargo. First, I'd like to congratulate Jason, Nikki, Andrea, and George on their inductions to the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame. I am honored to be in your company in this 2015 class, and I am humbled to be added to a long list of Bison greats who have preceded me on this stage. I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for my selection to the NDSU Athletic Hall of Fame. I am deeply honored and thankful to accept this award. Thanks also to those who have worked so hard to make this event happen, for us and for our families and friends who are celebrating with us today. I am elated to share this day with my husband Mike, my daughter Addison, along with my parents, my siblings and their families, my father-in-law, my aunts. Additionally, many of my teammates and friends are here with me, as well as my coaches, and they took time from their busy lives to be with me and be by my side once again, and also my coworkers from Sanford. I have attended many of these luncheons in the past. Typically, I am the one crying out there, not up here, so bear with me. But each year I am continuously reminded how being a Bison athlete has molded and shaped so many of us. While each of us has our unique stories and team dynamics, the same threads of belief and pride beam from each one of us. A common saying used from the herd song among Bison teams and fans states, "The strength of the Bison is the herd, and the strength of the herd, the Bison." To me, it means that being part of the herd is like being part of a family, the Bison family. I come from a strong, amazing family of my own, so it was refreshing when I visited NDSU. Like many of my teammates and players from other sports, I was recruited to other places, and there was something different here. There was something special. The feeling of family began even before I stepped foot on campus with conversations with Kelly and Coach, as well as Zonderbina, who recruited me for volleyball, and Lynn. And as we had conversations, the specialness continued to raise to the top about what was happening here, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. Making the decision to come to NDSU was one of the biggest blessings of my life because it afforded me the opportunity to meet some of the most authentic, loyal, and hardworking people in my teammates and coaches, as well as friends and staff at NDSU. To my teammates, many of who are here today, we started out as teammates, but you are now my sisters. From the road trips to the pump-up cheers and dancing in the locker room, to our other hilarious antics before, after, and sometimes during practices, We really did have a blast. Through our respect for one another as people and as great basketball players, we all learned to work together within the framework of our team. You challenged me on the court, and you encouraged me and allowed me to shine as a player and leader. Some years were definitely tougher than others, but we never gave up on the game. Even more importantly, we didn't give up on each other. I remember battling Rachel Otto and Teresa Lang my freshman year when I came in to play a wing. And then my sophomore year, I took a little stint with the point guard position, if you can believe it. I still maintain that I'm a guard stuck in a post body. To my junior year, finally implementing a 4-out 1-in offense that allowed me to shine as a player, because I did like to shoot the three, as Jeremy mentioned. And then finally, my senior year, making it to the national championship game. It was the perfect culmination to my career. This only begins to scratch the surface of my time at NDSU, but each scenario pushed me to grow and improve and to do what was best for the team. To me, wearing a Bison jersey was an absolute thrill and an unforgettable experience because of all of you. To Coach Rulli and Kelly, thanks for inviting a girl from Sodak up to North Dakota. I certainly wasn't as well revered down at South Dakota when we went to play games down there. But it was the perfect fit for me and for them, and so for that I'm thankful. It definitely took some convincing, by Kelly mostly, to say, 4 hours really isn't that far away from home. Thank you for that nudge, and thanks to my teammates for bringing me up too. For your confidence in me as a leader, for your undying dedication to the program, and for your friendship and mentorship now. I think more than anyone, the two of you knew the potential I had, and you helped me unleash my talents to achieve beyond what I even thought was possible. To Lynn, Women's AD at NDSU, thank you for being a strong voice and advocate for female athletes. I can safely say that your leadership for NDSU athletics has been compelling and inspiring. As time has passed, we've connected more on both a professional and personal level, and I'm thankful to call you friend. To NDSU athletics, staff and coaches, including administration, athletic trainers, ticket office, sports, info, Jeff Schwartz, thanks for everything, and other staff, you all are amazing, and you continue to bring on that tradition of excellence to the athletes that continue to walk through your doors. Your efforts are noticed, and they are appreciated, and you continue to give them the chance to live out their dreams just like we had that opportunity. To all the Bison fans, many of who are here today, we couldn't have done any of it without you. You were that extra player that helped to shift the momentum in games we played, and having that unwavering dedication by all of you made my experience here amazing. I will never forget my freshman year coming into the BSA for games and seeing the crowds of people that would come to watch the women's team and often leave after our games were done. That was not happening in a lot of places in the country. We had that here, and it was something I'll never forget. One of my final memories during my career at NDSU was returning home from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, after coming up short at winning that national championship. If I could change one thing, I would win that game for my teammates and for my coaches. It wasn't so much about the losing part that sits with me. It was knowing that we really were the best team. We just didn't play so hot on that day. But from that, we learned lessons, and we continue on. The greatest thing about that experience, though, was knowing that all of you still loved us and supported us. We walked off of the plane at Hector International Airport to a crowd of people cheering us on and welcoming us home. Always our fans, no matter what. I'll never forget that feeling, so thank you. In a similar way, I've known that feeling my whole life with my amazing family. To my parents, thank you for your constant support and encouragement to follow my dreams, and for cheering us on every step of the way. To my dad, thanks for being my first coach and my favorite, and for sharing your passion for the game. You have taught me more about life and how to work hard no matter what the circumstances by the example you've set for me. From the day I made my first basket in our driveway to the amazing ride we experienced together, I couldn't imagine those moments without you. To my mom, thanks for being you and for loving me, for teaching me responsibility, or the R word as we knew it at our house, at a young age, and for reminding me that there's always two sides to every story. You were the one, especially in the challenging moments, who always brought a fresh, upbeat perspective that often switched the negative into the positive. And probably most importantly, for giving the best hugs, win or lose. To my siblings, Jen and Jason, I should mention that I did have some pretty big shoes to fill with them. Both of them are already inducted into their college athletic hall of fame. But I grew up wanting to be just like them. My sister, who's 5 years older, would allow me to tag along to open gyms when I was a 7th grader. My brother let me play with his friends in the driveway, always challenged me to go left. I appreciate that. Apparently you knew what you were doing. As the left baby hook that I developed certainly came in handy in my time at NDSU. You both taught me how to compete fairly, how to win gracefully, and also how to lose with dignity. So thank you both for being those role models for me. Finally, to my husband Mike and for Addison, thank you for being here and sharing this honor with me today. You supported me as I played basketball for the Bison, Mike, but the support you continue to offer me in life is immeasurable. All of this would mean little to nothing if I didn't have you and our family to share it with. Together, we will instill the same beliefs of pride into our children our experience by being Bison allows us to do that. So we will carry that forward with Addison, Elin, Graham, and Jude. To be a Bison and to be part of the herd means more than people realize. For the current Bison who may be attending today, we are all so proud of you. Keep working, keep preparing, and by all means, keep taking NDSU to that next level. But as you do, realize one thing, that you have the whole Bison family around you that will sustain you and lift you up when you need us. That was true for me, and it will be true for you. I am forever grateful to be part of this family, so thank you. I am very honored to receive this award, and I am thankful for my experience at NDSU, as well as my continued connection to Bison athletics.
Her daughter wouldn't take credit for writing that speech. I'll give her credit. That was fantastic. Jayne's a perfect example of how we do love to take the best players out of South Dakota. Moving along, this 5'1" bundle of energy fit in quite well with the Bison softball program. She was one of 2 seniors on NDSU's 2000 NCAA Division II National Championship team that racked up a school record 68 victories against only 10 losses. That included a school record 27-game winning streak. The Bison shortstop hit .506 as a senior with 98 runs scored, 68 stolen bases as well. She was named to the 2000 Louisville Slugger National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Division II All-America First Team. She was the 2000 NCC Player of the Year. She played in 285 games during her career and still holds 16 of NDSU's career single-season and single-game records. She is the collegiate all-division career leader with 442 hits and 304 runs scored, ranks second with 250 stolen bases, and third with 952 at-bats. Following her impressive collegiate career, she played overseas representing the USA. She attended ESCO High School, graduated from NDSU in 2001. She has spent the past 13 years at Microsoft in Fargo and has held 8 different roles with the organization. Currently, she is the Director and Global Cluster Lead for the SharePoint and Office Organization in Customer Service and Support. She is married to high school sweetheart Ace Gregg, and they reside in Barnesville with their 3 children. Please join me in welcoming Nikki Gregg to the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame.
Great day to be a Bison. Welcome everybody again. Congrats to all the other inductees. What a fabulous honor and recognition. I'm so honored and humbled to be part of. Last evening, when my grandparents arrived, she asked my 7-year-old daughter what she thought about her mom being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and what she thought that really meant. My 7-year-old profoundly stated, "Well, it's a hallway where she's very famous." Although she is also convinced that Rocky Balboa is also going to be inducted today too, so I'm not sure. I remember being a player sitting in this very room 15 years ago. Much of what I learned playing ball carried over into so many parts of my life, and I know many of us have felt that. Throughout college, I was very focused on my business courses and applying for what I was going to do after college. I had no clue. I hadn't found that craft outside of playing softball. I dedicated almost every waking moment to becoming a better player on the diamond, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do after. What I learned about my time at NDSU was far more than I learned in the classroom. At Microsoft, almost 14 years now, I came to realize something. While I don't play the game of softball anymore, what made me a successful player transitioned into my professional career. I was a good teammate. I was competitive. I knew how to outwork the competition. I understood how working as a team towards a common goal could make you a champion. The light bulb went on. I found my craft. I was able to overcome adversity, inspire, motivate a team, crush the competition, and ultimately, I became a leader. The transition from playing high school ball to NDSU, I had a pretty successful high school career. I had things my certain way, I had my certain style. And coming to college, the level of play was obviously a bit different. One thing I learned very quickly my freshman year was that the collegiate level pitchers could easily hit those corners for strikes. I started striking out. And I started striking out watching the third pitch go by. As you know, those of you about the game of softball or coached, that's one of the worst at-bat scenarios, especially as a leadoff batter. My fearless leader, Darren Mueller, as my coach, understood and was a master at the mechanics of my hitting style. He videotaped and studied my style to try to overcome where I was kind of struggling as a freshman. He came up with a strategy with me on how to overcome that, and all I had to do was execute. Another adjustment or thing I learned from NDSU in playing softball was how to fail forward. And one of the examples that comes to mind again early on in my career as a freshman was I also struggled at sliding into bases feet first. I tore my knees open and bled all over my uniforms each and every time. So I mastered the craft in high school of diving headfirst into every base, all the time. And it worked really well. At the collegiate level, however, my freshman year, I was going for a play at the plate, running down the third base line, and there was a catcher, at least twice my size, standing there with the ball, ready to take me out in more ways than one. And she did. It was a bit hazy, the memory thereafter, as I did have a low-grade concussion. So I needed to fail forward. I needed to adjust my strategy. And so I became very strategic about how I would watch position. And so I became smarter about how I did things rather than just all gusto, which worked out. Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is a very great honor. I'm so proud to have made my mark in the history of the NDSU Bison. And there's so many who have contributed to my journey along the way. Certainly my parents, and providing me all of the opportunities as a child. So loving, so supportive, and as a parent now myself, wow, what dedication. Dad is my very first and favorite coach as well, and Mom with all of her epic advice that I'm still trying to figure out what some of it means today. My brother, who, thank you for always playing with me in the yard. I know it was forced play at some time. But who was always also a great sport, coming to all my games, and seemingly endless tournaments at times. To my grandparents who are here with me today, their unwavering commitment in cheering me on, they have followed me across the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My grandpa still sports the NDSU softball hat with my number on the back today. So, unwavering support, thank you. Thank you to my coaches who taught me that even the underdog, can become a national champion with heart, dedication, and a ton of running. To my teammates and everyone who I played with in my career, I consider you all friends for life. To the NDSU administration, thank you again for this great honor and recognition. Special call out to Jeff Schwartz. You amaze me about how you keep it all straight. And to my rock, my supporter in all of life, my husband of 16 years, as mentioned, Ace Gregg. You've been there since I was 15. You were at the 5 a.m. workouts with me at the track at the high school when we were trying to improve my speed. So you've always pushed me to be great in everything that I do, and words honestly cannot express how grateful I am for that. With your love and support, I feel confident and unstoppable. So thank you. And lastly, to my 3 children, Trinity, Dawson, and Alexa, a bit of advice. You're not going to be very big in size and stature, more than likely, with me and your dad as your parents, but your playing small does not serve the world. So play big in everything that you do. Look adversity in the eye, and from the words of the great Muhammad Ali, I'll show you how great I am. Thank you all. Go Bison.
Wow, that was great. Our next former athlete competed in the high jump for NDSU. She was the 1996 NCAA Division II indoor high jump champion and was an 8-time All-American overall, including a runner-up finish in 1998. She was one of the cornerstones for an NDSU women's track and field team that had 3 top 10 NCAA indoor finishes, including third in 1995 and a trio of top 10 national outdoor showings. She was a 4-time NCC high jump champ. She was a member of 2 conference indoor championship teams and a pair of outdoor first-place teams. And this is really impressive. She was outstanding in the classroom, was a recipient of an NCAA post-grad scholarship, 2-time academic All-American, the 1998 NDSU Albrecht Presidential Trophy winner, served as vice president for the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and received the Prairie Rose and Blue Key Doctor of Service Awards. Impressive. On the NDSU career chart, she ranks 4th outdoors and 5th indoors in the high jump. Was born and raised in Hutchinson, Minnesota, and was a 2-time Minnesota State high jump champ. Graduated from NDSU with a bachelor's degree in psychology in '98 and received a master's from St. Cloud State in '04. Andrea and her husband Preston have 2 children. She works as a school counselor and coach at Cameron Middle School in Cameron, Wisconsin. Please join me in welcoming Andrea Jeseritz Pearson into the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame.
I would like to thank NDSU, the NDSU team makers, the NDSU Alumni Association and Selection Committee for this tremendous honor. Congratulations to all the other inductees this year. It is very humbling to be named among you. The strength of the herd is the bison, and the strength of the bison is the herd. This was a saying I repeatedly heard from my coaches throughout my years here, and it could not be more true. I believe it takes a village to raise an athlete, and I would like to say thank you to NDSU for surrounding me with the very best coaches, athletes, and teachers. Thank you to all my teammates I competed with while I was here. Many of you are here today, thank you. I think they would agree that we got to be part of an amazing team, a team built on excellence and tradition. A special thank you to one member of that team, Catherine Hallett, and her husband Ryan, who are here today. Thank you, Katie, for helping me get through the most difficult workouts, for being a shoulder to lean on, and most importantly, my best friend. I would like to say thank you to my parents, Jayne and Dorothy Jeseritz. Your love, support, and encouragement seems limitless. You are always there for me whenever I need you. Thank you for the countless hours you spent on the road coming to see me compete. One of my favorite memories is from a meet at the Drake Relays. My parents had told me that they just weren't going to be able to attend that one. As the story goes, the morning of the meet, They were working around the house and they looked at each other and they just said, "We have to go." So they hopped in the car and drove to Iowa. So then I was warming up, I looked to the stands, and there they were, cheering me and the team on. To my brothers Shad and Paul and his family who are here today, thank you for your love and support. I could not ask for more inspiring brothers. Every coach has a special ability and style of coaching, and I was fortunate enough in my career to learn from some of the very best. Thank you to all of my coaches who helped me along the way. I would not be here today without you. So, what does a 7th grader out for track and field do when they don't really love running? Well, they are encouraged by their high school jumps coach to try jumping. I'm honored to have my high school high jump coach, Mr. Lowell Himley, and his wife Betsy here today. Mr. Himley, I will never forget all the extra time you took, usually after practices were over, to teach me how to high jump. You were always there during the meets, giving me that extra boost over the bar that I needed with a little knee drive that you did on the sidelines, or letting me know when I did a good job with a "that a girl" fist pump. But most importantly, thank you for teaching me the value of believing in your athletes. The pride in your eyes is something I will never forget, and I try to convey that to athletes that I coach now. When I came to NDSU, I was put under the care and instruction of Doug Schweigert. Doug, your technical expertise in the high jump is astounding. You taught me how to train and compete at the collegiate level. You taught me the power of positive thinking and believing in yourself. I smile when I think back to our coded hand signals we had because they made the coaches stand off in some far off place. Too far away, too close, chin back. I was so confident in the advice and the coaching you gave me that I never doubted that I could make the next height. Thank you for everything, and know that your knowledge and confidence is being passed on to the next generation of jumpers. Thank you to Coach Laura Bodine and her husband John for being here today. Laura and I only worked together for a short amount of time, but I can't say thank you enough for stepping in to help coach us jumpers. I will never forget your enthusiasm and love for NDSU track and field. When you would tell me, "You can do it," the passion in your eyes and the energy in your voice left me always striving to do my best, not only for myself, but for my team. Thank you to my coach, Jason Karn. You have a passion and energy for coaching that I can only attempt to match. Whether you are blowing snow off the track in the spring with a push-behind snowblower, or trying to contain your excitement as you jump up and down on the sidelines, your enthusiasm is contagious. Your words of encouragement were so powerful because you always believe in your athletes. That smile on your face and twinkle in your eye always conveyed to me that today was the day something special could happen on the track. Thank you for teaching me how to make every day count. I am so thankful to have been coached by, in my humble opinion, one of the very best coaches out there. Last but not least, the reason I came to NDSU, the reason I'm here today, Coach Jerry Gores. We all have people in our lives that have changed us for the better, and Coach Gores is one of those people. I cannot say thank you enough for bringing me here to NDSU and all the life lessons you've taught me. Through your coaching and leading by example, you taught me what it meant to be part of the Bison herd and to have Bison pride. You taught me lessons about dedication, hard work, honesty, integrity, sacrifice, respect, and teamwork, just to name a few. You always knew what I needed to hear to compete at my best. Sometimes that was telling it to me straight, or lightening the mood with your laugh, or sometimes just letting me go and compete. Thank you for all you've given me, your athletes, and NDSU. And finally, a special thank you to my family, my husband Preston, who has been there for me since high school. You are my rock. Thank you for always being there for me. To my mother and father-in-law, Kim and Lowell Pearson, thank you for sharing your love and bringing me into your family. To my children, Jacob and Lauren, I am so excited to share this day with you, to share what it means to be part of an amazing university, an outstanding track and field team, and an unstoppable Bison herd. In closing, I'd like to say thank you to NDSU for all you've done and for all you are doing for students and athletes like myself. You have given me the experience of a lifetime.
Our next inductee wrestled for Bucky Mon. And I asked Bucky, so I had to tell this story. I asked Bucky before I came up here today, I said, tell me a story about your wrestler that's getting inducted today. He goes, well, he was a really nice guy, so I never liked him. I had to tell that. He is from Millbank, South Dakota. His collegiate wrestling career hit a high note when the four-time All-American won the 1997 NCAA Division II National Championship at 134 pounds from NDSU. He was a member of the 1998 National Championship team and finished his career with a 99-35 record, including 34-9 in duels and 17 pins. He is one of 4 NDSU wrestlers to receive an NCAA post-grad scholarship and was selected to the 98 NCAA Division II Wrestling All-Academic Team. Graduated with honors from NDSU in 1998 and earned his master's degree in sports administration from the University of Northern Colorado. Couldn't get away from the Mons because that was alongside then Northern Colorado head coach and current NDSU Senior Associate AD for Development, Jack Mon. He served as his top assistant for 7 years. Competing for Millbank High School, he won his first individual South Dakota State title as a freshman on the Bulldogs' 1990 state championship team. He was inducted into the South Dakota Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2014. Currently, he is the Director of Operations for the Colorado Orthotic and Prosthetic Services and resides in Greeley, Colorado with his 2 children. Please join me in welcoming George Thompson to the Bison Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I don't know about the other inductees, but it makes me feel like he's reading an obituary when he starts talking about accomplishments and the things you've done and, you know, where are you at in your life and such. But I want to, first of all, I want to say thank you to the committee. This is certainly an unexpected honor. I was not expecting this in any way, shape, or form. I also want to thank Jack and Bucky for bribing the committee members to get me on this induction list. We drove in yesterday, me and my kids, from Greeley, Colorado, and I would like to, at this time, recognize them for making it this far. My daughter, Layla, and my son, Chase, this is their first experience with Bison Pride and Bison Nation, so I'm really happy that they were able to come with me, and we didn't have to pull over to the side of the road once the whole way, so they were great troopers. It seems like it was just yesterday. I know that's kind of a cliche, and a lot of people say that, but you know, it seemed like it was, you know, just one of those nice balmy spring days in Fargo where it's 25 degrees and 30 mile-an-hour winds. We're walking down the sidewalk with Bucky, and we were going underneath one of the skywalks they were building at the time. And Bucky, you know, he pointed out to me, he said, you know, they're going to have the entire campus connected by skywalks and tunnels, so you'll never have to go outside here, ever. I don't know about anybody else, but I never saw another one built. That was the last one. But I came anyway. These things are always a little tough for me. I have trouble taking credit for my own accomplishments, I guess. When I've been so blessed to have a lot of tremendous people around me. First of all, and I don't do speeches a lot, so these girls that were up here helped get me a little emotional before this one. So I'll try to keep it together, but my family's always been there for me. They've been my biggest fans from high school on. I graduated from high school. My mother told me that my younger siblings were coming up to high school. They wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't be able to come to any of my matches. I'm not usually that emotional. I'm a little taken aback. But anyway, they ended up missing one of my matches in college. They couldn't make it to Bismarck for a duel in a snowstorm. So going way back to high school, my family has always been my biggest fans. I've got my older brother, my older sister here, their husband, or her husband, Jason, and my brother's daughter, Taylor's here. A lot of my teammates came back. My high school coach, Bob Hirsch, who, being from South Dakota, he is a legend in the state of South Dakota. In fact, he deserves most of the credit from even wrestling. It turns out, as I was in 8th grade and, growing like a weed all the way up to about 5'4", that the high school teams wasn't gonna need a 5-foot, 5-point guard that couldn't shoot. So Coach Hirsch convinced me that maybe wrestling was the way to go. I didn't know a lot about the sport, back then. I was pretty new. But he kind of took me under his wing along with hundreds of other kids and showed me the light, I guess you might say. But I've always been appreciative. Even after I graduated and I defected to North Dakota, which didn't set well with a lot of South Dakota folks, he continued to be one of my best friends and supporters along the way. He's here today, and he's probably gritting his teeth having to be around this many Nodaks, but I'm sure glad that he made it. Along with, the credit that my tremendous family and support that I've received and community members that I've gotten, I'd have to, of course, recognize, not only Coach Hirsch, who got me started, but Bucky. Bucky, even after my initial tour, his tradition, the NDSU Bison experience up here lured me up to North Dakota. And there was something about his style of wrestling that I really, really appreciated. His style and his coaching. Some would call it old school. Some would call it really old school. But it resonated with me. He taught me, sometimes you fail, and you're upset, and you got to have a short memory. You have to move on from your failures and go to the next task. 1 minute Bucky would be screaming at you, chewing you out, cussing, and then the next minute's like he just forgot about it and he was off to the next, next task at hand. It wasn't until years later that Jack told me about the Alzheimer's. But looking back at my time, a lot of people, they say winning your national title had to be the climax of your career, and it certainly was gratifying. But I think the most gratifying part about it was that it happened here in Fargo, and I know a lot of the folks here were probably at that match. And the thing that made it special is, for those that don't know much about wrestling, I was losing the match. I was behind by a point, and time was running out. I was able to score a reversal, which was 2 points within, the last couple seconds of the match. Some people call it luck. I like to call it luck. But the thing that I remember most about that moment was the Bison Sports Arena absolutely blew up. It was, I don't know how many people were there. Certainly all the Bison fans, but I also had a large following from South Dakota that were there. And that sense of family, that sense of togetherness, that's what I remember about NDSU. But it wasn't my most gratifying moment. My most gratifying moment was our 98 team championship. And that was something, I won my title in 97. In 98, we were determined to win a team championship. We thought we had the team to do it, the talent. We had some new guys coming in. I was lucky enough to be selected team captain that year with Mark Pazdernick, former Mr. North Dakota, who Those of you that know North Dakota, he was one of the greats ever. But we spent a lot of time together. We kind of tried to develop a strategy on how we were going to sort of help the team get to where we wanted to be. Mark was also my roommate, best roommate ever. He's from New Salem, so he'd come to school with bags and bags of deer jerky, pickled eggs, all this great food, and it took him months to figure out that I was stealing from him. So anyway, Mark and I spent a lot of time trying to come up with a strategy. We ended up sort of thinking, we kind of came up with a good cop, bad cop sort of routine with our teammates. Mark, being way too likable, obviously fell into the good cop, and I took the role of the bad cop. I wasn't always the most popular guy. Getting into a fight with Ryan Walters may not have been very smart, but I like to think that it helped get the team on the same page and get everybody going in the same direction. But that was the most gratifying thing for me, was the team coming together. And a lot of them are here today. The 98 championship team, there ended up being 6 national champions at some point in their life off that team. Some of them are here right now. Chris Nelson, I saw him. Mark Pazdernick, Steve Saxlin, Ryan Walters. Tremendous teammates, and not to mention some of the guys that were in the room that, when we were cutting weight and we were down and, not feeling great, we'd have these guys sitting over on the steps just ready to come in and kick the crap out of us because we couldn't hardly stand up. So those are guys probably we need to be appreciative more than what we did. They worked as hard as we did. They did all of the back behind the scenes stuff, the dirty work, and helped us as well. And I won't forget those guys ever, or the roles that they played. Lastly, I'd like to, seeing how NDSU is growing, I think we're all very, very proud of what things have developed into. The wrestling team just recently is going to be included into the Big 12s, for those that aren't aware, and that's a big deal. I'm trying to clear my calendar that weekend to attend the Big 12s, but I've got a little girl whose ninth birthday is that weekend, and she doesn't think she wants to sit in a gym for 2 days watching wrestling. So while we're here, if some of you guys could help me out a little bit, see if we could sway her, tell her that's the best place to spend your birthday party, that would be great. But with that, again, I'm truly honored to be inducted, and it was very unexpected. The class of inductees is, a group I'm thrilled to be a part of, and again, thank you all for your time. Thank you for being part of the Bison family, and including a kid from South Dakota. Thank you.
And turn it back over to Dan Michaels. Thank you.
But it's so impressive. I'm so honored to have been here today. What an incredible collection of athletic excellence. Congratulations to all of our inductees. To remind all our new Hall of Famers to meet here to my right of the stage for a group photo following the ceremonies today. A reminder that the homecoming parade begins at 5:30 tonight on Broadway in downtown Fargo. Kickoff tomorrow is earlier, 1 o'clock kickoff at the Dome. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to direct your attention to the video screens and invite you to sing along with the NDSU Concert Choir in the singing of the NDSU alma mater, the Yellow and the Green. Cheer for green and yellow, up with yellow and green. There the shades that deck our prairies, far and wide with glorious sheen. Fields of waving all very much, and go Bison.